Yes, I did, but I'm not familiar with it.
I've not heard of it, but I can guess what it is.
Yes, I have.
Yes, I have. I think maybe approximately 30%.
15%.
75%?
I feel like it's between like 40% and 60%.
I think if I become a left behind child since so little, I would not have a sense of parent, which may cause the situation that I don't know how to behave like a parent when I grow up and have a child. Yeah, I think it would be a tremendous impact to my life.
Well, I think I would have to grow up a lot faster than like I should, and I feel like I would have to become more independent, especially like I would have to find a way to take care of my little brother, because I'd probably go to my grandparents, and my grandparents are pretty old, so I'd probably have to figure out how to take care of my brother. And I'd probably I do think that like your basis of relationships and what they should be come from your parents and like how your relationship was with them. And I feel like if they just weren't there, I would have a lot of trust issues and a lot of like abandonment issue. I feel like I don't think that would end well for me personally. I don't think it would end well for most people.
First, that would greatly affect my personality. My personality would be very dark and sarcastic toward the world. Second, my education opportunity. I would have less knowledge than I have right now. And lastly, that would greatly affect my job opportunity as well, and I would not believe the exact life that I want to have, probably.
I imagine it would greatly affect my future not to attend beyond elementary. Probably would not be in the working sector, which makes a significant amount of money, but I still might be able to get married because of the large population.
tiger.
如果一个家庭出现了
If
两
there
个
are
或者
two
三
or
个
three
以
left
上
behind
的，
children
也就
in
说
one family,
肯定
it
是
must
不
be
能
difficult for
是
them.
哎，为什么呢？
Envision if there is
因为
only
是
one bun. The
如果一个
only
家庭
child
有一
would
个
not be
孩子
hungry because he could eat
蒸
the
个馒
whole
头，一个
bun
馒
by
头他就吃
himself.
饱了。
However,
如果
if
三
there
个
are
小
three
孩
children
好
in
了
one
这一个馒
family,
头
now
得
of them
3
could be
平
four
均是
because
3
they
个
have to
是
share
不
the
是
bun.
仅仅能填饱肚子呀？是不是？所以说这是一个很现实的问题，肯定是要造成困难的。那么这种困难怎么去克服呀？一是要通过社会的
The way to solve this problem is through the power of the
通
community,
过家长的努
through
力
the efforts of their
啊
parents,
嗯
and through the
再一个呢
self-improvements of
养
those
起
left behind children.
这几个孩子，
They have to
哎
build
向
self-confidence
上发
and
展
now
学
to
习的
be
能力非
afraid
常
of the
哎
challenges.
这一块呢
Otherwise,
也
they
是
can
通过
never
树立
get
信
out
心
of
这
poverty.
挺困难，
Having too many left behind
这是真
children
实
is a social pressure.
要不然的话，老是在贫困当中徘徊，解脱不了这个落后的帽子啊。所以说，如果孩子多的话，也是一种社会的压力。目前的形势来
Indeed,
说，
the
政府
government
也
clearly
知道
knows
现
the
在的问题，
situation
就是
because they
每
send
年
people
人
to
类
our
是需要
school
调
to
查，没法儿去
investigate the
控制
number of the left behind
但是
children
真
every
正
year.
实施的方案，
However, they have not made any
上
truly
现在
useful and practical policy to solve
这
it
是
for
人类的
now.
问题。现在我觉得大家都
Since
认
most
识到了
people
留守儿
nowadays
童
have come
在
to the
家里，
understanding
如
of the
果爷爷奶
negative
奶、
aspects
姥姥
of
姥
left
姥
behind
能
children,
够健康的
parents would let their
生活，
children to stay with
哎，
their
我说不愁
grandparents
吃不愁
only
穿，
if
经
the
济有保障
grandparents
的
have
话，
enough
没法
money
讲，
and energy
有一个亲
to
人的
take
亲人
care
的
of
家
both
人，
themselves and the
哎，
children.
如果上述情
However,
况，
if the
学
grandparents
术的
don't
经
meet
济
these
经济不
standards,
好的话，
the parents would rather take their children
所
with
以
them
说
to the
我
big
觉得近
city.
几年中国的学校
This
当中，
tendency
留守儿童会
results
越
in
来
the
越少。
decrease in the number of left behind
但是
children in
我觉得这
recent
些留守儿
years.
童当爸爸妈妈他带不起的
However,
时候，
it will still be a
也是对他们的
challenge
生
for
活
the
的一个考验。
children, even if their
啊，一个
parents
考验。
take
为什么
them to
呢？
work,
爸爸妈妈要去打工，
because
要
they
上
will
班
be
要上班，
forced to stay
他
at home
放
by
学以后回家
themselves
还得负
after
责，
school.
他得树立一个
They
非
will
常
still
正
need
确
to
的
learn how to
而且
cook
他们是
and
在一
how
个
to
陌生
take
的
care
环
of
境，
对对他学
themselves.
习。
对，
啊，所以说
Moreover, they will be
不
at
同
a
的发展，
completely unfamiliar environment.
不能说是
It
落
is
后，
not
肯定
beneficial
是
for
应该
their
停滞不
growth
前。
and
那
mental
要发展的话，
development.
必须把适应的一个环境，然后再持续的发展。
It is a social problem because the economic problem is fundamental. If the parents have enough money, there will be no incentive for them to go to such a far place to work. All the parents
然后
prefer
呢
to
和
stay
孩
at
子们
home,
多待一
be
会儿。
together with their families, and
啊，
take
孩
good
子
care
我
of
是
their
父母，孩子
children.
可失去父爱。
However, our school can't eliminate these social issues.
对
All
对
we
对
can do is
所以
to
我觉得
give
学
them
校能做只
caring
是就
and
给他们
love
更多的就是关怀
temporarily.
啊，然后就让
对对对对，那是临时的，
是是
暂时。
嗯。
Longyan is a very talented and hardworking girl. She has been the first place in her grade since 6 years old. She has graduated from elementary school, but I'm afraid that it is the end of her education because we need her to support the family. I had cancer last year. Fortunately, I survived, but I could only make slight movements. Longyan's parents work for the construction site in Shanghai, so all the household chores have become Longyan's responsibility. I feel really sorry for not being able to support Longyan pursuing her education. Her intelligence is wasted by our family's mishap. I'm Wenting's grandfather. Wenting's parents went to Rizhao when Wenting was only 4 years old, so Wenting was raised by her grandmother and me. Her parents sent remittances to us every month. Since they own a small shop in Shanghai, they make a considerable amount of money every month. Our life condition has improved a lot since then. See, we even bought a television last Spring Festival. Everything went well except Wenting always asked her grandma and me that why other children could see their parents every day when she could only see her parents once a year. I can tell that Wenting is not happy without the presence of her parents. Things went even worse after her grandma's death the year before last year. Wenting has really profound affection for her grandma. She's an introverted girl, and she talks even less afterward. She has dropped out of school for a year to recover from it. It was a really hard time for her, because she didn't even have her parents to comfort her when she needed them the most. She's a good girl. She never showed how despairing she was in front of me, but her learning attitude at school and changing personality have told me how big of an impact this event has caused her. I have 2 grandchildren, a boy and a girl. He is Zitong, and he is 3 years old. He has an older sister who is 7 years old, called Yutong. Yutong is not here today because she went to the market to buy vegetables. Their parents went to Qingdao for work right after Zitong is born. They come back once a year, but Zitong never talked to them since they left home when he couldn't remember anything. The fact that Zitong doesn't accept his parents always makes me sad. I'm really concerned about his relationship with his parents and his mental development. But we all understand that migrating to another city for work is his parents' only choice. Yutong doesn't go to school. Actually, she has never had any form of education. She sews at home and sells her products in the local market. I think it's good for her to have this sewing skill because it will make her become a good wife in future. We plan to send Zitong to school when he gets older because we certainly don't want him to have difficulty finding a job like his father. I live with my uncle, who is my father's brother. My parents went to Guangzhou when I was in second grade of elementary school. My parents call me every week. They come back to Chuxiong once a year during the Spring Festival. That's why the Spring Festival is my favorite time of the year. I think it is a good thing that my parents don't live with me because I'm much more independent than my classmates. I know how to do a lot of things that they need to ask their parents to do for them. I'm really proud of it. The only thing that I admire my classmates who live with their parents is that their parents can help them with their homework and test correction. My uncle and aunt are too busy with their farmland and they usually refuse to spend time to help my schoolwork. I'm really bad at math, but I know my father is smart and good at math. He always teaches me math during the time when he's home. I believe if my parents live with me, my grade will be better. My parents left home when I was 8 years old because the harvest from our farmland could not support our family anymore, and my parents couldn't find a job in the village. Therefore, they went to Chengdu to work in a silk factory. They told me that they still don't make much, but I think it is better than they are unemployed. My parents come back to see me every 2 years because they said it takes a lot of money to travel. I live with my grandparents right now. I think the biggest challenge for me to live with my grandparents instead of my parents is that I don't have enough time to study because I need to cook and take care of my grandparents every day. Both my grandparents are really old, especially my grandmother, who is also really sick. They can't work on our farmland, so I also need to take care of the crops. I think it is unfair. My grade is not as good only because I have to do all the chores. I love my grandparents and I feel I'm obliged to take care of them. Every time I mention the huge academic pressure I have to my grandparents, they don't quite understand me. I like school and having classes with my classmates, but my grandparents believe that education is unnecessary. They want me to spend more time to farm the land so that we can have better harvests. I just learned the English alphabet, and I dream to speak English as fluently as you can one day. I really don't want to give up school. Parents commonly undertake migration to improve the life chances and educational opportunities of their children. From my research on the educational opportunities of the left behind children, I conclude that even though the economic condition for the majority of the families of left behind children would get better after the parental migration, the educational opportunity for left behind children will still decrease, especially for girls. For the parents who work in a rural area, the sum of their income is typically $227 per month, whereas for the parents who work in a well-developed city, the sum of their wages is typically $606, which is more than twice as much as they could make without migration to big cities. Parental migration is a breakdown of essential social control in the household. Left behind children themselves could suffer not only the emotional costs of separation from parents, but also increased household responsibilities. The migrating parents always tend to extend their cane to raise the children for them, which might alleviate some family constraints, but this is not consistently the case. The incapability of the left behind children's caregiver could bring the children even more obligations to do every day. At this circumstance, the left behind girls are the victims who are harmed the most by parental migration. They have the little educational opportunity because the educational resources are allotted to them only when the resources are plentiful.